Hey, how's it going guys? It's Nate here. And Skyrim is a game of many tales, places, and people. However, some of the stories that we uncover, locations we visit, and characters we may encounter have something about them that shakes us to our very core. Whether it's a horribly depressing tragedy or evidence of a sinister entity lurking right under our noses amidst the shadows. Today we'll be counting down 5 unsettling Skyrim facts. Starting off, we look at the Dark Brotherhood quest Hail Sithis, in which you're tasked with infiltrating the Emperor's own personal ship to assassinate him for a contract. However, once aboard the vessel, you may be surprised to learn that there seems to already be another killer lurking in plain sight. Behind a master-locked door inside one of the cabins, there are 2 bodies. A deceased Penitus Oculatus agent laying in a bed, and the corpse of a sailor stuffed underneath a different bed, all in the company of a single, very much living crewman, who eerily watches over the 2 lifeless men. It appears as though he killed them himself. It doesn't seem likely that this is a sick bay, considering that the ship is already in a port, and even if it was, why hide one of the bodies but leave another one exposed? It doesn't make any sense. According to some on the wiki, you can even catch this crewman slitting the Penitus Oculatus soldier's throat, though after about 45 minutes of testing, for better or worse, I cannot verify that claim. Next, Terran Dreth is the author of the Ethereum Wars, a book that outlines the effect of a theoretical rare material known as Ethereum and its impact on the ancient Dwemer. Upon reading the book, the player will be given a quest to go investigate a specific dwarven ruin and look for the substance. There you'll encounter the ghost of a woman named Katria, the true author of the book. You see, Terran was actually just Katria's young dark elf apprentice, but he then stole and published her research, taking all of the credit. After which Katria died trying to prove the research was actually hers, by finding the mythical lost resource herself. She now can't rest until she knows she's right. This will be what kickstarts the quest Lost to the Ages, in which you uncover various Ethereum shards across multiple different ancient dwarven ruins. Well, after completing the quest, you'll have a small chance at running into Terran Dreth, the research-stealing author, in a random encounter. The plagiarizing creep will attack you if you tell him about discovering the Ethereum shard, saying, "You know too much." This is already a pretty cool and somewhat rare experience in its own right. However, pay attention to the Dark Elf's name. Terran Dreth, particularly the surname, Dreth. Players of Oblivion will remember this, as one of the first characters you encounter was a Dark Elf named Valen Dreth, who would mock you from a nearby cell when you were imprisoned at the start of the game. It looks like this elven family has a history of pestering some of the greatest heroes of Tamriel. Thankfully, in both games you're able to get your comeuppance, if you will. In Skyrim, you can just murder Terran right there, and back in Oblivion, you could have Valen as a potential contract in the Dark Brotherhood. At number 3, we head over to the moving statues of Sovngarde. This is probably one of the creepiest, but in one of the final main quests in which you're sent to this plane to face Alduin, there will be a series of statues surrounding the cell's perimeter. Look at one that's facing a random direction, turn away from it, and turn back. And there will be a strong chance that the statue will have changed whatever direction it was facing to align with the player. These things are sort of like the weeping angels from Doctor Who, except rather than kill you, they just minorly inconvenience your efforts by startling the player. Moving on to our 4th spot, we head into the north at Trius's camp. Off the coast of Winterhold, a man by the name of Trius was expecting a ship carrying his love, a woman by the name of Shelley, to pass by. However, after days, it still hadn't. So Trius set up a small camp and decided to wait. But after weeks, there was still no luck. You see, the northern seas can be a rather treacherous place. Unpredictable winds, gaping icebergs, and pirates rule these frozen waves. And not the good yo-ho-ho and a bottle of rum kind of pirates either, but the scary ones that'll chop your fingers off. Well, Trius refused to accept whatever fate may have befallen his love, and would not leave until her ship returned. Alas, one night, the brutal northern shores got to Trius himself, and his remains now lie in a cot next to a note written for Shelley, in which he remains optimistic. He writes, assuming the reader was his romance, that if they came by the camp and he was missing, to simply wait for his return, as he was likely out hunting. But by now we know it was the North that got the last laugh. And finally, this last one on the list takes us to the island of Solstheim, where we visit Fort Frostmoth. This fortress was originally constructed by the Imperials hundreds of years ago. However, now it's fallen to necromancers, and among their undead thralls is, or was, an Imperial general by the name of Falx Carius. Players of Morrowind's Blood Moon DLC may have been a bit disturbed to hear that name, as it resembles that of a very familiar friend. In the Elder Scrolls 3, Captain Falx Carius was the Knight Protector of the Imperial Legion in Solstheim, and he would have been a key ally throughout the Blood Moon DLC, who you could ultimately kill and betray if that was your type of thing. However, by all accounts, Falx was an honorable and dependable man, a brave fighter filled with courage, which is why it may have been so haunting to find him reduced to the service of a petty necromancer. If you read a nearby journal, you'll find that the necromancer who was using him was fairly inexperienced herself, and had trouble getting him to follow her orders. She even comments that it seems as though Carius had a free will of his own. The good news is you can lend a hand to an old friend one final time, and free him from these terrible bonds. And there you have it, 5 unsettling Skyrim facts that you may have missed. Which of these threw you off your balance the most? And what have you seen throughout Skyrim that was particularly ominous or disturbing? Leave a comment down below. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, like ratings are always very much appreciated, and I hope to catch you all in my next one. Peace out, everyone.